What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down the difference between 5-star wide receivers and 0-star wide receivers. So I hope this video helps you guys out. Hope we could give you some new information on, the recruiting process, how the star system works, and how most of that stuff does not matter. So again, hope this helps out. Also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver or a quarterback and would like to train with us this offseason, we're going to be traveling out to 15 different states for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver training camp. So we'll be coming out to San Francisco, California. That camp is unfortunately sold out completely. Then Orlando, New Orleans, Charlotte, Dallas, the DMV, St. Louis, Honolulu, Boston, Cleveland, Austin, Seattle, Newark, Denver, and Los Angeles. So very first link in that description below. We'd love to have you out to one of our 2-day-long QB and wide receiver camps. Let's get started with this video. So now, this is going to be some examples here first from Calvin Ridley. Now, the one thing I want to make clear, 5-star, no stars, 3 stars, whatever it is, it simply does not matter. It is all based on hype, fellas. Now, there are some things that some guys like Calvin Ridley, who went to the big Power 5 schools, and then some guys like Cooper Kupp, who we're going to look at in a second, Adam Thielen, who went to these smaller Division II, Division I FCS schools that can be different. But we're going to look at all these guys' highlights from high school, and there's a lot of similarities here. The difference is what we're going to be discussing. So anybody who knows anything about high school football in Florida is that Calvin Ridley had one of the craziest highlight tapes, made some of the craziest plays, and was one of the best receivers in that state to ever come out of Florida, right? So when you see these plays that he's making, he's a very explosive route runner. This is something we call a diamond release. This is something that you see Calvin Ridley still do today in the pros. He takes 3 hard outside steps to this DB's outside shoulder. He forces him to flip his hips. This showcases his speed, smoothness out of cuts, explosiveness, and then obviously this type of play, and these are all over his highlight tape where it's a 50-50 ball, he jumps and comes down with it. Now, one of the key things that college coaches are looking for in terms of receivers is that they're looking for guys who make big plays. They make explosive plays. They're explosive guys, and Calvin Ridley has that. You watch his film, he's making guys miss. He's turning bubble screens into 80-yard touchdown passes, but there are a lot of wide receivers that do that all over the country. So let's take a look at this next example here. This is Adam Thielen, right? Came out of a school, I believe it was Detroit Lakes High School in Michigan. Now, I don't necessarily know if that's the biggest school in the world. I know Calvin Ridley went to a bigger tier high school, and obviously he's in Florida, which is a huge market for football. But watch this play that he's about to make right here. So this ball is thrown. He goes up, makes a great catch, breaks a tackle, and then he's able to score a touchdown. Let's look at another clip here from Adam Thielen. He goes up, jump ball, is able to get a foot down, makes a great catch. Now, both of these examples are the same types of plays that Calvin Ridley has on his film as well. So what's the difference? Why was Calvin Ridley made a 5-star, and why was Adam Thielen a no-star and went to some, tiny school out in Minnesota, and it was a Division II school? Calvin Ridley went to Alabama. What's the difference? They both are making the same types of plays. So and probably the same size too. So you can't use the size factor. It's probably having a lot to do with the fact that Florida has got some of the most hype in the entire country in terms of football exposure, all these, rivals, ESPN, all of them want to go down to Florida because, Florida's a big market for football. That's where football is prevalent. And honestly, that's where they can get the most views. I'm going to tell you this right now, and I know the game too. I make YouTube videos, I make videos all over social media. I get the game. I know they're trying to get views because that's how they make a living. That's how advertisers will pay more. I get it. I completely understand. But I'm saying this right now because my audience is primarily high school youth wide receivers. Do not get discouraged if you're not labeled a 5-star, a 4-star, a 3-star, because it does not matter. Adam Thielen has probably had a more successful career in the NFL than Calvin Ridley has. And not to knock Calvin Ridley because he's a stud. He's one of the best wide receivers in the game when he's playing the game and he's not suspended, right? So the reason why is just they're all fueled by views. They're all fueled by hype. They're all fueled by exposure because their videos, if they post a video on YouTube, it's going to get more views if they say 5-star wide receiver out of Florida than this wide receiver out of Detroit Lakes, Michigan. And it's like, it's just not as flashy. It's not about the hype. And that's why those guys get it. Now, again, a lot of times guys, pass the eye test, something we call the eye test. In Florida, you look at Calvin Ridley, we go back to his tape, fast, tall, physical wide receiver, can go up and get the ball. He's making explosive plays. Like that is a big portion of why guys will pass that eye test. But trust me, fellas, I challenge all of you to do this. Go to ESPN, go to Rivals, and I want you to go to their recruiting website and go to their rankings. And I want you to go all the way back to 2011. Now, if you go all the way back to 2011 and look up the top wide receivers in the country, I want you to look at all of the guys who are ranked 5 stars. And I want you to tell me how many names you recognize. And listen, they all got their college paid for, which is number one, the most important thing. I'm not saying all of you are going to go to the NFL because it's impossible for all of you to go to the NFL. Do I want you to? Yes. Do I want you to have as much success as possible? Yes. But at the end of the day, it's about getting your school paid for. And what are you actually playing football for? Do you want it for the stars, the hype, and the views and all that stuff? Because that can get taken away real quick. Or do you want to actually set up yourself, use this game to set yourself up for a scholarship, to set yourself up for future opportunities and make it easier on your family, right? And it's like you look at all those guys with the 5-star label attached to them, the great high school players, probably great college players, but like how many names do you really recognize, right? You look at guys like Adam Thielen, and now we look at this next example. This is Cooper Kupp here from his high school highlight tape. Now, Cooper Kupp, same scenario, probably a little bit undersized at the time, but look at these plays, making broken a tackle, showcasing his speed, makes a guy miss, like all of these things, like it's the same type of film, it's the same type of stuff that they're putting out. But why was Cooper Kupp a 0-star with only one offer to Eastern Washington, which is still a Division I school? And guess what? He still got an offer. I say this to tell you guys to not get discouraged. Please do not get discouraged. If you're in a small town in the middle of nowhere, Minnesota, like Cooper Kupp in Washington, and you don't have a ton of exposure, you don't have a ton of college coaches, you just got to keep pushing and keep working. Because you have to be undeniable. The thing that Adam Thielen had in common, the thing that with Cooper Kupp, the thing with Adam Thielen, things with all those guys that, did not have the offers. You hear all the stories all the time, is that they were undeniable. They were undeniably the best wide receiver on their team, number 1. Undeniably the best wide receiver in their district, in their league, number 2. And they were probably one of the better wide receivers in their state, and they were undeniable, fellas. That is what you have to do to be able to get your school paid for. A lot of guys, they think that they need to go to this camp or that camp or do this exposure camp, this exposure camp. At the end of the day, you could go to every single camp possible, do every single showcase, run a 40 at every single combine, get a t-shirt to every single camp. But if you are not undeniable on film and in your area, and you're maybe the 2nd or 3rd wide receiver on your team, it's highly unlikely for you to play Division I ball. Just a fact. That's a fact of life. So a lot of people have their priorities wrong. They're so worried about, what college camp should I attend? Should I go to the UR athlete camp, or should I go to the Rivals Combine and just run a 40 with 300 other people and get a t-shirt? Like, all those things are scams, fellas. It's about what you can do on film. And at the end of the day, it's about being undeniable. Does my film speak for itself? I go to every camp in the world, but does my film speak for itself? Adam Thielen's film spoke for itself. Did he go to a smaller school? Yes, but he probably got it paid for, and look where he's at now. Cooper Kupp, did his film speak for itself? Yes. Went to a smaller school, but look at him now. Probably best receiver in the NFL. Probably got his school paid for. Then you look at a guy like Calvin Ridley. Was he undeniable on film? Yes, he was labeled as a 5-star, but the 5-star crap does not matter. It's all about hype. It's all about views. It's all about money, if I'm being quite frankly honest. But again, he got his school paid for. Be undeniable on film. And then you look at a guy like Justin Jefferson. Now, he's out of a big football market, Louisiana, New Orleans. And he's, this is just some clips of him running some routes. Very smooth route runner, tall. You could tell he knows what he's doing out there. Very polished wide receiver. He was a 3-star, right? So again, not a 5-star. He's in a big football market. He was a 3-star, probably because he was labeled as slow. I saw something that he ran like a 4.8 40, which is probably not the case now. But again, it's a long game. You guys have a long time to develop as a wide receiver, to develop as a football player. And if you guys are so worried about, just like the stars and the hype and all that stuff right now, when you get to college, nobody cares. I can tell you this right now, and I'm not going to name names. I'm in Southern California. There are plenty of guys out here that are 5-star recruits that do not belong in that 5-star category. I'll tell you that right now. And when they get to college, they're going to get flat out exposed. Just flat out exposed. That's just how it is, because it's all about hype. What can get these recruiting companies, guys who have probably never played football, the most money, the most views possible? And that's what they're concerned about. They're not concerned about, and honestly, I think they have it wrong. I think going out to the small towns and finding a kid who's just a stud and building him up and making sure everybody knows who he is will get them more attention and will get them more views, but they don't want to take the risk. They don't want to go out and do the work. It's all about views, fellas. Do not worry about stars. Everybody's got a different journey. I just showed you two wide receivers who are 0 stars, one is a 3-star, and one is a 5-star. All playing in the league, but it takes a special type of player to play in the league. It takes a special type of player to get their school paid for. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. What are you playing football for? Are you playing it for the stars? Or are you playing it to make your family situation better and getting your education paid for so you can set yourself up to make more money at a job or do whatever you want to do, make more connections, whatever it is. But that's what you are doing it for. All right, fellas, really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. Always appreciate the feedback. Always great to hear from you guys. And again, fellas, if you'd like to come out to one of our 15 off-season trainings camps that we are hosting this year to help your skills improve, you're a quarterback or wide receiver, check out that very first link in the description below. I'll see you guys next time.